Tracy
Either way, Stefanski or Stefanski, either way.
Tracy Stefanski. Okay, welcome, Tracy.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you for your interest in the District 2 Alderperson position.
You're welcome.
We'll be asking you a list of pre-selected questions, Tracy. We have allocated 20 minutes for each interview. We are conducting 8 tonight and 1 on Thursday. You are welcome to stay after your interview to observe the rest of the interviews, but we ask that you do not share the questions asked tonight until after Thursday.
Okay.
That's the day the other interview I told you will be conducted. Once all the interviews are completed on Thursday, the committee will decide the next step in the process, which could range anywhere from selecting the final candidates, position for appointment by the Common Council, or narrowing down the candidates and asking for another interview. Rebecca Grill, our city administrator, or Steve Bratz, city clerk, will contact you regarding the next steps of the process. Please be cognizant of the time limit of 20 minutes, as I indicated to you, and provide concise answers to the questions that we will pose. Our first question will be asked by Common Council President Tom Lasek.
Tracy, how do you view the role of an alderperson?
The view of the alderperson to me is somebody who is a representative of the people in their district, but they also take a role as a representative of the city besides. So my opinion is they take the role of the representative of the people in their district first, and what their concerns are, representing them and being the voice for them at the Common Council. But I also think that they take a role as a representative of the city of West Allis besides, because you're not just being elected to your district, you're being elected to the Common Council, which is the group as a whole for the city.
Tracy, what characteristics, qualifications, or experiences do you possess that make you the most viable candidate for the position?
Well, I've been a lead at my company right now for the last 3.5 years as a PDM administrator, which I oversee the database system for the entire globe. So I work with everybody around the world. I have to hold meetings, I have to hold training sessions, I have to write procedures and policies, and then my prior experience, I did the same thing at my companies for almost the last 10 years prior to that. I was the neighborhood association president for a while, and throughout the years of my life, I've done a lot of experience with the mentally disabled, and was on the I was a state president for the youth. At that time, it was called the Youth Association for Retarded Citizens, and I was a state president of that. And so I've got a lot of experience with leading people, teaching people, talking in front of people, and I think that's an important role, being a representative for the Common Council and for the city.
Tracy, have you ever previously considered running for alderperson? If you have, why haven't you run?
I actually did run in 2016,
Yeah.
and I had only been in the area for a short period of time and only lost by 145 votes. So I did run, and I plan on running again in 2020 if I don't get appointed.
Thanks.
What do you feel is the most significant shortcoming of the city council at this time?
Of the city council? I would have to say, and it's improved recently, I would have to say the communication with the citizens of the community. I think there needs to be a little bit more transparency, and people need to be able to understand what's going on more, instead of using legal jargon all the time that's used. I think if we share with people what we mean by the legal jargon if we put it in lay terms for people who don't understand the legal jargon, I think we'd get people that would be either more supportive or more vocal to what things are going on, and you might see people get more involved.
The city is in a stage of redevelopment. What areas in the second district did you believe have the greatest need? And do you feel the common council has correctly handled economic development in the city as a whole?
In the second district, I think we're already working towards that, the National Avenue area. That needs to be redeveloped. And I also think in areas where we have homes that are run down, abandoned, not taken care of by absent landlords, I think we need to focus on maybe doing something there to get, either force the landlords to be involved and fix the properties up. Whatever we can do on the legal end as far as what the power of the city common council has to fix that. And I think if we do that, we would work towards making the development of the city more appealing to people who want to come here. As far as the city as a whole is concerned, I think we've been doing a good job with bringing new business to the city. The development that's going in on right now the farmers market. What's going to be going on down on 84th Street, and some of the stuff that's been going on Highway 100. I think we've been doing a good job on focusing on bringing more business into the area and making things more appealing for people.
Tracy, do you understand the time commitment required for an alderperson with meetings, constituent interactions, general community involvement, and do you have the time and flexibility to accommodate the schedule?
Absolutely. Even have work on board with it, so.
What was it?
Even have my job on board with it, so need to take off for something. It's pretty flexible. I can work from home with my job, and so if I need to stay home and do something, I can do that.
Tracy, do you have any conflict of interest that we should be aware of?
None that I know of.
Thank you.
Is there anything in your background that may come up for which we need an explanation that you can provide?
That I've been divorced. Does that count?
Problem?
Okay, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yes.
I have never been drunk in my entire life. I've never done drugs. I've never been arrested. I've never had any altercations with the police. So I don't think there's anything I could think of that would be an issue.
What is your opinion of the city budget and taxes, and do you have any ideas to share?
I think our city taxes are fairly balanced to what other cities are doing of our size. The other part of our taxes, that's another story. But I think as far as us taking care of and making sure we've got the required things that are needed for our city, the public services, emergency services, police, fire, those type of things, I think we do a good job with providing. I think we could maybe use 1 or 2 more police officers. I think from what I've observed, our fire department is top notch. I don't know, because I don't hear much, when I'm attending the meetings about how much they need for equipment yet. But from what I've observed, they seem to have what they need. So I think we're good with where we're at. There's always room for cutting taxes and cutting corners where we need to. Looking at what we're spending on and where we're overspending or where things are maybe being gouged because we're not getting a good amount of quotes and things from different companies. That could maybe be looked at a little bit, but other than that, I think we're, as far as that part of our taxes is concerned, I think we're doing halfway decent.
Tracy, how would you as an alderperson support the strategic plan goals, mission, and vision of the city?
As long as it is being done with aspect to what the people of the city are looking for, without hurting them in the pocketbook, without making things more difficult for people who are here. I'm all for any kind of, things that we have that are looking to improve. I'm always behind stuff like that.
Tracy, describe a time where you have experienced it or exercised discretionary judgment in an issue or task that was before you.
It would probably have to be, I worked at a company where the vice president of the company was using drugs and I witnessed it. I did not blurt it out. I did not approach and say to everybody, hey, he's using drugs. I went to his next higher up and I discussed it with him, and we talked about it. He said he appreciated that I came and talked to him about it. From what I understand, because it was a private matter, they helped him, and he's still with the company from what I understand, but I think he had to go through some rehab, and the company helped him with that.
Thanks.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with the committee at this time?
Well, other than the fact that I'm very devoted to West Dallas. When I first came to West Dallas, I lived up above the theater, the community theater, and rented that for a while, and was very involved in the community theater, doing directing, helping the owner of the place, keep an eye on it while he wasn't there, while the theater was closed up, and it made me want to be more involved in the city, and so I decided to make a permanent residency here and bought a house, and am involved in the church. I am the head usher over there, the business manager over there, the building manager over there, the head of security kind of over there, and I'm also a deacon, so I go out into the community to meet people who are homebound, people who can't get to church, people who need help, and so I spend time doing that. Besides anything I can help with the neighborhood association, I'm still a member of the neighborhood association, and just trying to get people involved in my neighborhood. I'm the block watch captain, and so I try to make an effort to get out to I have from the railroad tracks to Beecher on 75th, and so I try to get out and talk with the neighbors and help monitor Rogers Park when we've got issues with stuff going on over there, and we've broken up many disagreements from little kids over at Rogers Park, and we found that if you go over there and you talk to the kids instead of yell at them and get on them, if you talk to them, they actually respond better to it. And last summer we found out that they were drawing inside the tubes and stuff, and told them that this is something that you can get in trouble with the police for, and they were all panicky that we were going to call the police, and Jamie went over and got those magic erasers, and broke them in pieces, and we got the kids to clean out the playground and stuff. So it was it's a start, and the kids seem to respect that, and we told them we're right on the corner here. If you guys have a problem that you can't solve, come to us, and we'll help you solve it. And it just seemed to be a good thing that's worked out so far.
Good. Do we have time, Mr. Clerk? Okay. Are there any older people that would like to ask Tracy a question? We do have a winner here.
Chairman, Tracy, if you could, the transparency thing, that you say that we're not transparent or not, I don't understand that, because except for personnel matters or for negotiating or something, everything's public. So if you could just specify those.
A lot of people don't realize where they can get things. they don't realize that it's out there. And I try to make an effort to people by saying to them, hey, it's out there on the web, you know, you can go get things. I'll actually get stuff for them that we've got, you know, that's been done in the meeting, and I'll present it to them. I'll say, here you go, here's a copy of it, I'll print it out for them. I think people, and I don't know if it's because of not being internet savvy or what, they just don't know, they don't understand how to get the information other than coming to the meeting. So I think if we've got an easier way that's, you know, not necessarily going and say, okay, we're gonna send out a mailer to everybody, because that would cost too much money. Just some way to communicate with people, and I've been thinking about this for a while, because I wanna know how to, I'm trying to figure out how to get it to the people without putting a cost to the city on it. I think, maybe, like when we had the festival, like, the a la carte, you know, the city has a booth there, and if we had people there to walk around at a la carte and say, hey, you know, here's what we're doing with the city, we're doing at the common council, do you guys have any questions, do you have any concerns, any ideas that you think we should be looking at, type of thing. And I think if we could do that to get the citizens more involved, you might not have as much anger or you know, trying to come back and say, well, I didn't know this stuff, you know, how come I have to find out about this later? If we had that, if we could do that with people, I think you'd get a better response from citizens if we could do that somehow.
Thank you. Any other aldermen have a question for Tracy? I guess not, Tracy, so thank you again for your interest in this position.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll be in contact with you sometime after the final interview that will be held on Thursday.
Okay, thank you very much. Everybody have a good night.
You too.
Also.